Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Unitarian Congregation of Men in Nutsbridge, hosted today by Bill Vieira. Today I'm going to be starting off with Land of Hopes and Dreams by Bruce Springsteen. Enjoy. Come on, here we go.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Hello. So wonderful to see your beautiful faces. I hope you all had a very, very nice week. I hope you've had a week of good health and happiness and peace. My name is Bill Vieira, and I am humbled, to say the least, to be presenting the service today. It is always a very humbling, moving experience and a very deep learning experience as well to lead a service, to plan the readings, and then to write something that you will share with other people and hopefully will move them in some way. It really is an awesome experience, and I am very moved and very humbled and very grateful for all of you to come here today and to share it together. Today is April the 23rd, the day after Earth Day. So we are going to be celebrating the 24th. Thank you, love.
2 days. That's okay.
2 days. So we will be celebrating today the seventh principle of Unitarian Universalism. We acknowledge and respect the interdependent web of existence of which we are a part. So that's going to be the theme of the hymns, of the readings, and of the story, and some words that I put together that I would love to share with you. Again, I am honored and humbled. We're going to open with a reading from our book, number 417. If you would all read with me together in unison the opening words. It's number 417. Again, it's written by Barbara Peskin, and it's called For the Beauty of the Earth. That's the first line. If we could all read that together, all together. Yep. For the beauty of the earth, this spinning blue-green ball, yes. Gaia, mother of everything, we walk gently across your back to come together again in this place, to remember how we can live, to remember who we are, to create how we will be. Gaia, our home, the lap in which we live, welcome us. Thanks. And now Matt will lead us in the opening hymn, which is number 310, The Earth is Home. Number 310.
Okay. Be a little different. And the earth is home, and all abundant. 1, 2. Thus of what was before we were, and will be till all life unending. The final seeds shaken in His blood. And she is our friend, our ancient mother. Her faith and all her ways and ours. And each atom throws our common journey, bred as we were of dust and stone. And we struggle from the fountain turn. 1, 2. We children born of earth's deserting, for we and all our forward yearning are yet the spark in ancient burning. There you go. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Oh. Try new ones every now and again, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry if, I wish I knew more about music.
That's a tricky one.
Maybe we'll try something else.
Do my best.
Instruments should blend with one another as much as possible
No. Quite a hymn. Quite a hymn.
Beautiful. It was beautiful. A symbol of our Unitarian Universalism and our coming together is a chalice, a shared cup. And I asked Mr. Tim Hall to come up and light the chalice for us. Tim recently has announced that he intends to join our church, that considers us his church, and we consider him part of our family. So welcome so much, Mr. Hall. I think it's just one that is. It's part of the chat. It's part of the initiation. Please read with me number 442. We bid you welcome. Let's read responsively for the chalice lighting and us coming together once again. Number 442. We bid you welcome, who come with weary spirit, seeking rest.
Who come with troubles that are too much with you, who come hurt and afraid.
We bid you welcome, who come with hope in your heart.
Who come with anticipation in your step, who come proud and joyous.
We bid you welcome, who are seekers of a new faith.
Who come to probe and explore, who come to learn.
We bid you welcome, who enter this hall as a homecoming.
Who have found here room for your spirit, who find in this people a family.
Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are on your journey,
we bid you welcome.
Please join with me in the affirmation as found in the program. You may stand if you wish and are willing and able. And we affirm together that love is the spirit of this church.
And service is its law.
This is our great covenant.
To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
We share candles of joys and concerns, acknowledging and celebrating the significant milestones of our lives and the moments of our time. And we invite anyone who wishes to now come up to light a candle of joy and or concern and share that with us, with the community.
Two joys or joyful candles, if you want to share one.
The first one is that we bought a house in Uxbridge.
Far we're fortunate because of our constraints financially not to have a full-time minister, that we have people like Bill, like Leslie, to step up and lead service and put it in part of their day. It's not easy to do or prepare for in the course of your normal chaotic week. And the fact that we have people that are willing to do it for the community, I think, is awesome.
Let's light a candle. Thinking about all the sadness and sorrow and suffering that's taking place in the Ukraine right now. Particularly all the orphans' children. Children now with no parents. I cannot imagine being a child and not knowing the love of your parents that you had at the time of God, and how to continue to go on. For all the orphan children of Ukraine, and all the orphan children who are refugees in the sub-Saharan Africa, in Asia, and in all parts of the world. May they find love, compassion, and somehow some joy in this life. I also like this candle for those who cannot be here today, whether it be that they have other events that they need to, or they're not able physically to get here, but they are here in their spirit. And we light a candle to acknowledge that even though they might not be here with us physically, they are here with us emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, and we acknowledge their presence and extend gratitude for them attending with us today, even if it's not important. We'll now take a moment of silence to hold in our hearts the joys and concerns that have been shared with us, and those which may remain in our hearts unspoken. We'll take a moment to think of those and reflect on them and find some meaning in it that maybe perhaps we might be a little bit better. Amen. We'll now sing together hymn number 173, In the Branches of the Forest.
Here is a full playthrough of the tune.
Number 173.
173. of the sea, you will find a brooding sadness over all the ancient watershed. You will see it written plainly on the wind and in the sand. There's a in the thunder, new commandments sound a warning through the wilderness. Let the forest be untainted, let the stream be undefiled, let the waters of the river as the flow down to the ocean be as sweet as in the old days when the mountains stood alone.
Today's story is actually a teaching from the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh, who we recently celebrated his transition in this past January. I have always found his teachings for me to be quite profound and moving. His concentration was mindfulness. And too frequently do I find myself just so wrapped up and involved in life's events that sometimes I'm not even aware that I am actually experiencing this incredible thing called life. And Thich Nhat Hanh and his teachings have taught me to stop and think and feel and acknowledge the beauty of each and every single moment. He wrote also on something called interbeing, and it really sounds like and feels like a lot like the seventh principle, the interdependent web of all existence, and how we are all a part of that. This teaching of his comes from one of his writings on interbeing. I have a little biography and then the reading I would like to share with you. Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh was a global spiritual leader, poet, and peace activist, renowned for his powerful teachings and best-selling writings on mindfulness and peace. A gentle, humble monk, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. called him an apostle of peace and nonviolence when nominating him for the Nobel Peace Prize. Thich Nhat Hanh had been a pioneer bringing Buddhism and mindfulness in our contemporary culture. Master Hanh frequently included in his teachings the concept we know as the seventh principle in Unitarian Universalism, our acknowledgement and respect for the interdependent web of existence of which we are a part. He called it interbeing. He explained this concept in the following teaching. Interbeing. If you are a poet, you will clearly see that in our program, a sheet of paper, that there is a cloud floating in the sheet of paper. Without a cloud, there will be no rain. Without rain, the trees cannot grow. And without trees, we cannot make paper. The cloud is essential for the paper to exist. If the cloud is not here, the sheet of paper cannot be here either. So we can say that the cloud and the paper inter-are. Interbeing is a word that is not in the dictionary yet, but if we combine the prefix inter with the verb to be, we have a new verb, interbe. Without a cloud and the sheet of paper, inter-are. If we look into this sheet of paper even more deeply, we can see the sunshine in it. If the sunshine is not here, the forest cannot grow. In fact, nothing can grow. Even we cannot grow without sunshine. And so, we know that the sunshine is also in the sheet of paper. The paper and the sunshine inter-are. And if we continue to look, we can see the logger who cut the tree and brought it to the mill to be transformed into paper. And we see the wheat. We know the logger cannot exist without his daily bread. And therefore the wheat that became his bread is also in this sheet of paper. And the logger's father and mother, they're in it too. When we look in this way, we see that without all of these things, the sheet of paper cannot exist. Looking even more deeply, we can see we are in it too. This is not difficult to see, because when we look at a sheet of paper, the sheet of paper is part of our perception. Your mind is in here, and my mind also. So we can say that everything is in here within the sheet of paper. You cannot point out one thing that is not here time, space, the earth, the rain, the minerals in the soil, the sunshine, the cloud, the river, the heat. Everything coexists within this sheet of paper. That is why I think the word interbe should be in the dictionary. To be is to interbe. You cannot just be by yourself alone. You have to interbe with every other thing. This sheet of paper is because everything else is. Suppose we try to return one of the elements to its source. Suppose we return the sunshine to the sun. Do you think that this sheet of paper will be possible? No. Without sunshine, nothing can be. And if we return the logger to his mother, then we have no sheet of paper either. The fact is that this sheet of paper is made up only of non-paper elements. And if we turn these non-paper elements to their sources, then there can be no paper at all. Without non-paper elements, like mind, logger, sunshine, and so on, there will be no paper. As thin as this sheet of paper is, it contains everything in the universe in it. Teaching of Thich Nhat Hanh. Please read with me, responsively, number 530, Out of the Stars. This is written by Robert T. Weston, Out of the Stars. Out of the stars in their flight, out of the dust of eternity, here have we come, stardust and sunlight, mingling through time and through space.
Out of
Out
the
of the stars
have
have
we
we
come.
come from time.
Out of the stars have we come.
Time out of time, before time, in the vastness of space, Earth spun to orbit the sun. Earth with the thunder of mountains newborn, the boiling of seas.
Earth warmed by sun, lit by sun. This is our home. Out of the stars have we come.
Mystery hidden in mystery, back through all time. Mystery rising from rocks in the storm and the sea.
Out of the stars, rising from rocks and the sea, kindled by sunlight on earth, arose life.
Ponder this thing in your heart. Ponder with awe. Out of the sea to the land, out of the shallows came ferns.
Out of the sea to the land, up from darkness to light, rising to walk and to fly. Out of the sea trembled life.
Ponder this thing in your heart. Life up from sea, eyes to behold, throats to sing, mates to love.
Life from the sea, warmed by sun, washed by rain. Life from within, giving birth, rose to love.
This is the wonder of time. This is the marvel of space. Out of stars swung the earth. Life upon earth rose to love.
This is the marvel of life, rising to see and to know. Out of your heart, cry wonder. Sing that we live.
We are very grateful for everything that everyone does for this community, for all the people who work unselfishly, that we may be able to continue together as a church to worship, to share. At this time, we'll now accept our contributions as an offertory, and Matt will play us a tune.
This would be Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple.
Wow.
There you go. There you go. Oh, there's the raspberry.
Time for our meditation and prayer. For our meditation, this is a reading from Nancy Wood. It's number 481 in our books. It is our quiet time. We do not speak because the voices are within us. It is our quiet time. We do not walk because the earth is all within us. It is our quiet time. We do not dance because the music has lifted us to a place where the Spirit is. It is our quiet time. We rest with all of nature. We wake when the seven sisters wake. We greet them in the sky over the opening of the kiva. This is our quiet time. Please join with me in singing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life. The seventh principle of Unitarian Universalism, respect for the interdependent web of life, calls us to be stewards, caregivers in compassion, practicing loving kindness towards each other and all creation. Earth Day is an appropriate moment for us to be reminded of this responsibility. The first Earth Day celebration took place on March 21st, 1970, the vernal equinox that year. It was the brainchild of John McConnell, a newspaper publisher and influential community activist who proposed the idea of a global holiday called Earth Day at a UNESCO conference on the environment in 1969. McConnell suggested an annual observance to remind people of their shared responsibility as environmental stewards. He chose the vernal equinox, the first day of spring in the northern hemisphere and the first day of autumn in the southern, because it is a day of renewal. At the vernal equinox, night and day are the same lengths everywhere on Earth. McConnell believed that Earth Day should be a time of equilibrium, when people could put aside their differences and recognize their common need to preserve Earth's resources. On April 22nd, 1970, the Environmental Teach-In held a nationwide day of environmental education and activism that it called Earth Day. The event was inspired and organized by Senator Gaylord Nelson of Wisconsin. Nelson wanted to show other U.S. politicians that there was widespread public support for a political agenda centered on environmental issues. Following the Earth Day celebration inspired by Nelson, which demonstrated widespread grassroots support for the environmental legislation, Congress passed many important environmental laws, including the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, Safe Drinking Water Act, as well as laws to protect wilderness areas. The Environmental Protection Agency was created 3 years after Earth Day, 1970. In 1972, British chemist James Lovelock and U.S. biologist Lynn Margulis proposed a hypothesis that there is scientific evidence to demonstrate that the Earth is a living organism, and an organism which regulates itself to maintain an equilibrium that is optimal for the existence of life. They named this theory the Gaia hypothesis, after the ancient Greek earth goddess. It proposes that all living things have a regulatory effect on the Earth's environment that promotes life overall. The Earth is homeostatic in support of life-sustaining conditions. Many processes on the Earth's surface, essential for the conditions of life, depend upon the interaction of living forms, especially microorganisms with inorganic elements. These processes establish a global control system that regulates Earth's surface temperature, atmosphere composition, and ocean salinity. Contemporary science tells us that the Earth is currently in crisis due to human practices which challenge and threatens Gaia's ability to regulate itself into the homeostatic stasis, which is optimal for life. Humans impact the physical environment in many ways. Overpopulation, pollution, burning fossil fuels, and deforestation. Changes like these have triggered climate change, soil erosion, poor air quality, and undrinkable water. We as a human species have negatively impacted the interdependent web of life, affecting our and the Earth's continued survival. We have ignored the cautions of scientists, such as Stephen Hawking, and environmental activists like Greta Thunberg, who have highlighted these global issues. Their calls for action have been dismissed as false science and misguided idealism. Our collective greed and reliance on fossil fuels ignore conditions favorable for the future generations of all things in this web of life. We are caught up in our selfish desire to accumulate wealth at the expense of global health and at the expense of our future generations. Our individual and collective selfishness is the stuff of folly and will one day be the source of our inevitable demise if left unchecked and uncontrolled. This selfish folly is rooted in our ignorance and unwillingness to accept our individual and collective responsibilities. We do not recognize that our very lives are directly dependent on the interdependent web of existence. We ignore and dismiss our responsibilities for the well-being of others and the environment by justifying our indulgent behavior in our perceptions of stewardship. We lack compassion. Compassion for our fellow human beings and for the environment. Our destructive behaviors towards the interdependent web of life cannot be altered until we collectively change our perceptions and acknowledge the validity of science. Earth Day is a moment for us to embrace our reliance and our responsibility to practice compassion towards the earth, towards each other, towards the interdependent web of life. We need to acknowledge that we and all of creation depend upon each other for our continued survival and existence. Only as good stewards, each of us caregivers acting from loving kindness with respect for the interdependent web of life, will we have a chance for a sustainable future. I find it very difficult and challenging to watch the evening news and read newspapers and magazines now at this point in my life. Some time ago, I had purchased subscriptions to a variety of them, like Newsweek, The Washington Post, The Economist. I started to become more depressed and feeling helpless about all the terrible things that were happening in this world. The global crisis is at such a large scale. I feel hopeless in doing anything about it. It seems that as a species, we are moving away from enlightenment and towards savagery. Our inhumanity towards others seems to be escalating with the troubles in the Ukraine and throughout the world. I know I'm powerless over it. But I can change my perception. I can do something, although it may be on such a small scale in comparison to the global need. I can create. I can become involved. I can become part of a small community. And then within that own small community, I can practice genuine compassion. Genuine compassion towards others from the perspective of loving kindness. I can become the creator of beauty in my own small part of the world. I can beautify my surroundings. Make and put up birdhouses. Plant a garden. Put a flower in a vase and set it on our dinner table. Maybe by doing this, I'll pick up that piece of litter that I passed by on the street and do it because it is the right thing to do, even though it might not be Earth Day. Thank you. We'll now sing together hymn number 175. We celebrate the web of life.
Here's your full playthrough on the hymn. We celebrate the web of life. Oh, sing, for we can see the reliving day, the fragment of the perfect whole in nature and in prayer. As much respect the water, land, and air which gave us creatures birth. Protect the lives of all the share the glory of the earth.
Announcements. Reverend Patricia asked me to announce that this week, Mendon and several other neighboring communities will be collecting litter, and she has signed up to clean up George Street. And if anyone would like to join her, to please get a hold of her. And also, she would love to hear from everyone and what they're doing. And I guess Peter has some information regarding some of those events for us.
Well, no further, but it's the awareness. Because I remember Peanuts. It's a big organization. It took a lot of time and effort. You picked the day, you got the bags, and there's still that to do. But 2 points. One, first one, every day is a big day, right? And the picking up of the garbage, whether
Also, in Goss Hall, there's a sign-up sheet for a potluck. On May the 22nd, we're going to be having a special service on the history of the Uxbridge Church and the new people who have been the caretakers and the people who have been renovating the church. We had given them a few items that were originally found in the church, the Samuel Clark plaque, the chairs. And so we're going to have a special service that Reverend Patricia is planning. And following the service, we'll have a potluck. So we'll need entrees, salads, vegetable dishes, desserts, and please sign up in Goss Hall, and it'll be a great time. It's always a wonderful time to be able to join together and celebrate. We have a strawberry festival coming up. Leslie has been working hard on that. June 11th. And also, if you could make mention of it in your circles of friends and associations. People also are interested in selling their wares. People are so if you have a friend who might be doing some crafts and want to do something at a craft fair, we're going to be Leslie's arranging and working with people to be vendors. Yep. So that's June 11th.
Annual meeting, May 15th after service.
Annual meeting, May 15th after service.
As well as the meeting of the Uxbridge Society, it's a twofer.
Yes.
Yep. Also, we are very grateful and thankful for Marge West and Tim Hall for providing us today with the beautiful flowers and coffee hour. Thank you very much, Marge and Tim. Sure.
Next Sunday is Alliance Sunday, correct? Yes, so,
Ooh.
the women of the Joseph Emerson Alliance will be hosting the coffee hour, and we'll be reading, and it'll be fun, yes.
Yes, it will. Awesome.
And one more thing I'd like to say, there's going to be a celebration of light service on May 21st, Saturday, for Marty Fletcher at 11 o'clock. And there'll be a collation afterwards, the Alliance is putting it on. So please.
Thank you. And we wish Robin well and hope everything is fine with him.
Who's here Thursday cleaning the bathroom?
I'm sorry?
Robin comes every Thursday as a member of the property and cleans the bathroom, so even it is.
Okay. Well, our time together has been very inspirational for me, very moving, very rewarding. Thank you all so much for coming, especially my wife and my stepson Sam for coming and supporting me. Very grateful and very thankful. So we extinguish this candle and this chalice, and even though the flame may not be there, we carry it on and hold it within our hearts. And may it warm us and comfort us throughout the week until we meet again. Matt, postlude?
All right, you ready? This is Up Where We Belong. This is from the motion picture An Officer and a Gentleman by Joe Cocker.